It was the late 70s, and I had been a struggling actor in New York for 7 long years. My best year as an actor, I made $3,300. Don't laugh. That put me in the top 10% of the Actors Equity membership in earnings. Now, I still believe, despite those numbers, that I was destined to be rich and famous. Instead, I was poor and desperate and 32. But then I got a call from a friend in Columbia, South Carolina. He said, "Jim, come and do the lead in a musical for me at a dinner theater." And I left my dark, dingy apartment with bars on the windows and flew south. And I was in a bedroom with the light. There were trees outside and grass. There was a backyard with a hammock. Oh my goodness. I could use a car for the first time in 9 years. I felt like I was in heaven on a 6-week pass. Then the show opened. We got great reviews. I was a star in South Carolina. Then the show ended. I had to head back to New York. I drove to the airport, a local celebrity, and I got on the plane, unemployed and unknown again. And as I put the seatbelt on, I had that moment of clarity. I realized I just didn't want to be an actor anymore. And when I got home, I called my entire address book, 300 people, and told them, I'm looking for a real job. And nobody believed me, because they don't believe actors when they say that. Finally, I got one lead. I had a friend at Avon Products and Human Resources. I called her, and she said, "Jim, if I get you an interview, and if by some miracle you get a job, you have got to stay 6 months or I'll be personally embarrassed." I said, "Don't you believe?" No, she didn't believe me. So I subsisted for about 2 months on care packages from my mother and odd jobs. And then the phone rang. It was my friend at Avon. She said, "Jim, the sales meeting department is looking for a writer. And they want a wacky idea person. Somehow I thought of you." So she then said, "Now, when you show up for your interview, be sure that you dress professionally." Well, I knew what that meant. It meant wear a coat and tie, right? And I had one suit, and that's what I wore. A blue velvet Pierre Cardin number. And I thought I looked good. Well, I came in, I didn't have a briefcase, had a vanilla envelope. I had sketches and articles and my unpublished book, How to Survive a Roommate, and I put it down on the manager's desk. And fortunately, this manager did not care about my fashion faux pas. She was interested in my writing, and she asked to keep all that and look at it. And 2 weeks later, she called me, and she gave me the job. I went from poverty to $27,000 a year. That's like $100,000 today. Well, it turns out I was a pretty good sales meeting writer. And about 2 years later, they asked me to write a speech for the CEO. I'd never written a corporate speech before, so I made mine warm and human and funny, and they loved it. And then I heard the CEO deliver it. Oh my God, he was horrible. And I thought, I can't let him destroy my masterpiece. So I went up to him and I said, "Mr. Casey, I think you could be even better if we rehearsed a little." And he said, "No one's ever asked me to do that before. I think it's a good idea." And so We rehearsed 3 times, and he got better, and everyone noticed it. Suddenly, I was a speechwriter and a speech coach. I got a raise, and executives knew my name. Finally, all those acting classes had paid off.